Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Cluda Don for another episode of Country Fan Mail Podcast. I got a really dope episode coming in with it today. I know I say that all the time, but trust me, you're gonna be surprised on this one. Let's get it. Yo, welcome back for another episode of Country Family Podcast. I just want to thank everybody who has came back, who has tapped in with anything that I've dropped. Thank you for coming back. I know it seems like every time I record, I have a different backdrop, but we're working it out. You got to kind of fill out different spaces, see what the ambiance, what the vibe is. But anyways, if you like the page, if you like the profile, if you like the podcast and you want to support the podcast, make that you hit that link below, that my Patreon link, in which you can support the podcast. I have 4 different subscriptions that you can choose to support the podcast if you so choose. But anyways, without further ado, I want to invite this gentleman on the stage. This interview was a big deal for me. First and foremost, I didn't think I was going to get it. Not that, not anything against him at all, but personally, just been watching him for a while and honestly been seeing his growth, just in the last year and even just in the last week, he's had a crazy week. And it's pretty much telling of what is coming for this gentleman. So without further ado, I want to introduce the gentleman to the stage, Mississippi's very own Silas. What's going on, G?
What's up, man? Happy to be here, man. Thanks for inviting me on.
Already, I appreciate you coming, man. Definitely. And then shout out to your team for helping me set up the podcast as well.
Oh, no doubt. I love the name, man. Country Fan Mail. I'm from the country. I'm from the South, so I'm with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's dope.
Already, man. Yes, sir. So yeah, I'm from the South as well, man. That was one of the things that I would start off before. I don't start off my traditional way, but when I first heard your music, I was just like, man, this sounds different. I was like, he got that twang in it too. Like, is he from the South? And I kept on looking more into it. And I was just like, man, and I hadn't heard music like that yet coming from the South, especially from Mississippi. But before we get into that, I want to start out the podcast like I do traditionally. What was the first song that you listened to this morning?
This morning, I ain't stressing it.
I feel it.
That's not even like, me trying to throw, some promo in there. That's the first, and probably that's the first thing I listen today because I turn my phone on and that's what everybody's reposting. So that's the first song I hear normally every day at this point right now. So yeah.
For sure. I ain't mad at it. And honestly, I ain't gonna lie. It's in my my workout playlist, and I work out first thing in the morning. So it's one of the first songs that I hear too. And honestly, it really gets me going, man, for sure, man. That whole mixtape, man. We gonna get into that, man, for sure. Yeah. So before we get into the mixtape, so I want to be 100% transparent that I recently discovered you maybe within the last year and a half, possibly. So when I was looking more into you and I was asking people about you and stuff like that, one of the things that one of my friends said was, well, what happened to Trey Parker? And I was like, well, who's Trey Parker? Yeah. So yeah, that's my first question is either who was Trey Parker and why the name changed?
Okay, cool. So it's kind of a long one, but I'm gonna try to minimize it and compact it. But Trey Parker was one of my first rap names. It's probably the first one I stuck with. So that's the artist name I was going by before I transitioned to Dearsilas. So I came up with the name Trey Parker because I'm a third, and typically when you're a third, they nickname you Trey. So that's my name. That's what my family calls me. And at the time when I was picking a name, I didn't want to be like and this is no shade to anybody that does this, but I just didn't want to be like a little Trey or a young Trey or something like that, So I was like, man, I wanted the name to sound like real, like just a real, name. But I think I may have been listening to some jazz at the time, and it was like some Charlie Parker playing saxophone player, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna just put the two together, Trey Parker. Damn, I like how they sound. And later on down the line, that kind of messed me up. It didn't mess me up, but me not thinking that It's a guy named Trey Parker, who's one of the co-creators of South Park. So like my name kept getting mixed up. You know,
I saw that when I was looking up stuff. I was like,
yeah, I was getting fan mail. So and later I kind of adapted the Trey Parker music into the fold so I can kind of differentiate myself from that happening. But yeah, Trey Parker was like the first, you know, like my early era of making music. And I think like when I came to the transition of just going back to Silas, which is my government name, I wanted to just take a different approach to my music. I think when I was making music as Trey Parker, I was making music for everybody else except for myself. I was doing what I thought everybody else wanted to hear, you know, versus what I really wanted. And it was a time and I wanted to rebrand. And I was like, you know, I'm gonna just change my name and I'm gonna do what I want to do. And whoever like it, and whoever don't, it don't matter. You know, I'm just gonna make music for the people who like what I like. And that's why I'm Silas now, Dear Silas.
I feel that. Okay. And why specifically the deer before the first name? Like, was it something that because you said that you were making music for you, like you were just like everything was kind of to yourself in a sense.
That's exactly it. So
okay, all right.
It's like it's as if I'm writing a letter to myself. Like, you know, definitely. I love being able to connect, you know, with my supporters and make music that they can resonate with. But first and foremost, man, again, you know, I was making music. I said I want to be selfish with myself and make music that I want to hear and make the things that I love. So it's just an open letter to myself. I'm really just always talking about the issues that I'm dealing with, trying to help myself get through it in real time.
For sure.
So that's why I call myself Dear Silas.
Okay, all right, rock with that, man. I rock with that. Yeah. So staying kind of with the beginnings, you know, the young Trey Parker, young Trey. So in high school, you were in the band and you played the horn.
Yeah, I played trumpet. Yeah.
Okay. So is that so? Actually, I mean, I was gonna ask a question that I already know the answer to, but I know you still currently play, or at least you still can play. Is it something that you still currently, you know, say do actively to this day?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Not as much as I should, but I definitely do. I incorporated it sometimes. Maybe on this last mixtape, you have to listen a little closer, but I definitely put it in my music as much as I possibly can. Yeah, and definitely in my live shows, I pull it out. You know.
For sure. So speaking of this last mixtape, this is giving self love.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was watching a lot of your lives, and from my understanding, you say you produce a lot of that stuff, if not majority of it, correct?
On that, it's more so with this last project, which is what we're talking about right now. Yeah, I was really super duper hands on with this one.
That's also how was that process like, you know, saying going through being the writer, the producer, you know, you do all your videography and all that stuff by yourself as well?
Pretty much for the most part, yeah.
Man, you just like you do everything, man. Like so tell me how that is kind of, you know, managing all that and being able to, you know, stay consistent.
Yeah, man. I mean, it can get tough sometimes, and I just attribute that to being like just knowing how to move in today's world of, you know, being an artist. You know, you almost gotta be a one-man show in a sense. You know, not saying like I definitely, you know, have help, but you have to be multiversed in order like to get the needle to move right now. And yeah, you know, for me, I think at the end of the day, I'm a creative at heart. So I just really enjoy doing that type of stuff. Like I just love seeing like what I can put together. Like a lot of the stuff that I do or the videos I make is my first time attempting to do it. And it was just a challenge for me and myself to see like, can I take this and turn it into something dope or, you know, make it great. And as far as the music process, I really wanted to be hands-on because there are definitely other producers on this album. Shout out to all of them. But even with this one, man, like I just really wanted to level up my musicality. You know, I wanted the songs to flow a certain way. You know, I wanted, you know, this to be this low and this to be this high. And it was just a great experience for me because not only am I, you know, I want to put out good music, but I want to continue to grow as a musician or creative period. So it's always important for me to, you know, if I can get in there and do it, I want to learn. I love to learn new stuff.
For sure. All right. And in the midst of this project or in the midst of you getting this project together, y'all suffered a loss in your family. Your father passed away.
Yeah.
So and my condolences definitely on that one. So one of the things that I mean that it always stands out to me when you see people that are in the public light and they still shine consistent through things like that, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody deals differently, everybody copes differently, and not one person is better than the other. But to see your consistency through that, and then also to hear March 28th, to hear that song on the album, and to hear, saying you speaking through it, your pain, your conviction, but for it also to still be an uplifting song. It almost made me feel bad for feeling bad when you didn't even sound like you felt as bad as you sounded, if that makes sense. Okay, so yeah, so can you kind of explain how that was going through that process?
Yeah, so the music that was used for that, um I kind of wanted to repurpose something I did a long time ago as a freestyle. And the name leaves my mind right now. I can't believe I can't think of it right now. Let me think. I want to say this. The Pay Sisters. Sorry. Yeah. Uranus. That's her voice on the track. And when I first heard that, from that sample, I just remember how happy it made me feel. And it just reminded me of like family and getting together with your people. You hadn't seen them in a long time. And I did like this freestyle for like Thanksgiving or whatever. And after my dad passed, it just felt different. And I wanted to do something that still made me feel good, but I could like it's just one of those things where you can still express any type of emotion on it, and it can come across a certain type of way. And I know how that track made me feel, so I wanted it to feel something. I wanted it to feel warm, and I didn't necessarily want to make a song because music lives forever. And not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I know if I wanted to like make a tribute for my dad, I wanted it to sound uplifting, and I wanted to be happy because that's something I'm gonna have to hear for the rest of my life. And I didn't necessarily want to hear something that's super duper mellow. And yeah, for that, man, what's crazy is I was pretty much done with the mixtape, and that was definitely not supposed to be on there, but of course, I had no idea what was gonna happen to my dad. And when he passed, like the next day, we went in the studio, man, and like that was fresh. That was maybe 24 hours, in the mix. And I feel like normally, I would think I wouldn't do anything. Like I've never really had anyone that super duper close, family wise. I've never lost anyone that close other than my grandfather and my grandmother. And I just wanted to. I feel like it was healthy for me to express myself in that moment. I felt like it probably would have been more healthy for me to just get that out, even if I'm, putting it on wax rather than just balling it up. And it helped me. It was therapeutic for me to do that. It was like it was another way of crying for me. Because sometimes releasing that type of energy and crying feels good. It's good for you, to heal. So
For sure. For sure, I sent that song to one of my homies. He lost his mother recently, and he was kind of going through it, and I was listening to it, and I shouted over to him, and he was just like, yeah, like I appreciate that, what I'm saying, because it's different to hear a song like that, but it also be uplifting, because sometimes we always hear it, and it's when we feel down, sometimes it comes off as down, but to hear something that's uplifting and put you in those good thoughts of that person, those things are definitely needed. But speaking of the good thoughts, you're uncle now.
Yeah, man, I'm an uncle, man, and that's crazy because that was one of the things where like of course, like I miss my dad every day, and that never goes away. But in turn, my sister had her first daughter, just a couple of weeks before my dad passed away, and I just tried to take the positives, and say like, yeah, I lost my dad, and the positives from that was that he was in a lot of pain, and he doesn't have to go through the stuff he's going through anymore. But like, man, look, we got a new family member, and she got to get here before he passed away. And he actually got to see her, So that was just, like even through the song, like that was probably the hardest verse I had to do in my life because I was trying not to break down while I was in the booth.
Yeah.
It was cool fighting through that verse and getting it out. And then it started out kind of like, damn, but getting to that part about her, that brought me back up.
I heard you smile in the words. Like I could hear the smile in the. Yeah, it was crazy, man.
Absolutely, yeah.
For sure, man. And kind of keeping on this this uplifting note. You've had a really crazy week. Like it seems like every day it's just like something else is happening. So I mean, I could talk about it, or you could talk about it. But like, what's been happening recently with Dear Silas, man?
So man, I don't know if you can tell or not, but I'm a little hoarse right now. It's been a lot of screaming and running around the crib and like sliding across the floor, and me just just jumping up and down. My wife like just a whole bunch of that. Nah, man, it's been a great week, man. Like it started kind of like at the tail end of last week. And, I just woke up one morning and I saw Teddy Riley had followed me, and I was like, where'd that come from? Like,
Wow.
I don't know. I was like, but I take it. I don't know, but whatever, and that was kind of like a sign of what was to come, the next couple of days, then before you knew it, Master P shared the video, actually acknowledged me, took the time to write me,
wrote a post out, yeah.
Yeah, and that happened, and I was like, and what's crazy, this is what I said. I said, man, Master P posted this, and I was like, Master P is a mogul, you know what I'm saying? I remember it was just cool for me because that's like a childhood hero. Like I remember the wars of being young and people going back and forth between No Limit or the Hot Boys.
Yeah, I was just about to say, yeah.
So it's like you had to choose a side, and I love Master P and just everything he's done, not even just as an artist, but just as a businessman, and I look up to that, especially as a black man. Sure. So that was dope for me. So I was like, man, you know what? If Master P posted this, I'm sure like all the other big black moguls, I hope they see it. You know what I'm saying? And so I was talking to my wife, and I was like, man, I pray like did he see this, or I hope Snoop see this, and then lo and behold,
Man, that was so wild.
Like wow, like, and this was just yesterday. I can't. It's like stuff is going so fast. I can't believe this is like 24 hours ago. But even like then Snoop posted, and then he followed me and he hit me and told, so I was like, thank you, and he was like, nah, bro, fist pound and everything. Like it's been bananas, bro. So man. I'm just right now my mind is and normally back in the day, I've had people post my stuff all the time. Mm-hmm. And I never celebrated. I always like say, I see stuff happen, like plenty of people, Missy Elliott, SZA, Chance the Rapper, I can go on naming for days, mm-hmm. People like, put my stuff back out there and supported it. But I always kind of just like, I need to keep my nose to the ground and pretend that's not happening and just keep working hard. But I'm like, yesterday, I was like, nah, forget that, man. Like, let's go. You know what I'm saying? Like, be proud of yourself, but also continue to work, but don't be afraid to celebrate within the moment. And that's something like I'm really bad at, but I'm getting better at. So right now I'm happy, man. And I'm thanking God for all these looks and the opportunities. Mm-hmm. And right now, I'm just looking forward to capitalizing on everything.
Sure. Yeah. Man, it's an amazing moment. It's an amazing moment to witness for real. Like, seeing everybody, you have a really dope fan base. The Village is really dope. Like they really like shout out to the Village for real. Cause like, I mean, literally, you'll go through comments after comments after comments, and like people really they hold you down. And if like anybody tries to hop out of line, like it'll probably get to you.
No, they do, man. And I love the Village, man, because it's such a family. Like sometimes I have my lives and I'll see people talking about stuff. I have like no idea what they're talking about. Like somebody would be like, they'll be going back and forth like, yeah, I just got a cast for my leg. And they was like, cool, I'm glad you healing. And I was like, wait a minute, when you break your leg? But they know.
They know each other, yeah.
And they building a community within my community. And it was so cool for me just to see like them like, conversating with one another. And I'm like, I don't even know what's going on, but they becoming friends, bro. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? From like listening to my stuff, and that made me so happy. And just the community of like people striving to be, be better with their mental health. Like that was very important for me. And that's something that I struggle with a lot. And just to know like that's the type of community that we build. And like, it's not just about, jamming songs. That definitely helps, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's just about helping people, know that they enough and they got what it takes, or that, to feel good about themselves and to love themselves. And like, that's what I love the most about the Village. the
Yeah,
mindset of everybody.
they definitely got it, man. They definitely got it. I feel like, some people, some celebrities, man, they fan groups be the most toxic thing about them. The people be great, but the fan groups be the most. So yeah, but the village definitely got it, man. So kind of sliding into, you were talking about mental health. That's one thing that I'm heavy on, and I feel like mental health, it encapsulates everything, kind of, and it always starts from where we started,
Mhm.
essentially. So kind of going back to, growing up, I know some of the things that you mentioned in your music is that, you were always seen as different, or you always had a different swag about you. You had a different, you weren't going to do this just because everybody else was going. You were going to do what you wanted to do until you decided that you wanted to, and then you, like you explained, you were just like, nah, I'm gonna do shit for me.
Yeah,
So I guess I'll bring this all back full circle. Like, how was it growing up? And was it Jackson, Mississippi, if I'm correct?
correct.
So how was it growing up in Jackson? You know what I'm saying? Being who you were, and just kind of, marching to that video drum.
Man, it's tough, man. It's tough because like where I come from, it's so many different crops of people, right? You know, and I kind of try to explain that on I got this song called Smoke on is giving self-love, and I'm just trying to show duality between, this side of the world and that side, and I even switched the song up to just kind of just differentiate it a little bit more. But like one part of that song is me explaining like the place I'm from, the north side of Jackson, Mississippi, and that place I come from, I grew up with a lot of people um that we come from the same crop, but some people go this way and some people go that way, even though we have the same circumstances. And that was me really, I wanted to pay homage, like not saying that one side is better than the other side, but just acknowledging that, I respect it, whatever your decision is, but at the end of the day, we all come from the same side. But just to answer your question a little bit more, it was tough, man, because for so long, it's tough. It's tough when you're different because the world don't always congratulate being different.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not normal, then it's weird, or if it's not what everybody is doing, then like you whack.
Yeah.
And for the most part, I never just, and it's not that I was trying to, like, I was never a guy like, okay, this is what everybody else doing, I'm just do the exact opposite. I just like what I like, and I didn't like what I didn't like. And because of that, it came with a lot of stuff. It came, being, labeled as an outsider, getting picked on, bullying and stuff like that, and so, that aspect of it was tough, but I'm also grateful for that because I think it just gave me more dimensions as a person. Because I have an album called The Day I Die, which I kind of explain like my transition. Like one day, and this is crazy, bro. It was simple as my cousin, who was super duper popular. He was coming to my high school, and I didn't want him to see me, not being like, or being lame or whatever, quote unquote. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna take this summer to get my gear together, get my swag, you know what I'm saying? Like, figure out what I can do good. I was good at cracking jokes. I'm like, all right, boom, that's my way out, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I became popular, and I let go of like the two best friends, the only two friends I had, on the pursuit of popularity. And I became friends with all the people who clowned me just months before. It's like they all magically forgot that they used to, pick on me. Not all because my clothes changed, my dialect changed, my swag changed. You know what I'm saying?
All the things that aren't important.
None of that stuff is important. And and for a while, that kind of stuck with me for a long time until I figured out again, like that shit is trash because, like you said, none of that stuff matters in the end. All of the people you're worrying about impressing later on down the line, more than half of those people, probably more than 75% of those people won't be in your life anymore. And at the end of the day, all you got is you. Yeah. And I found my way back to Silas, and that's why I say like I'm grateful. I'm grateful for going through what I went through and transitioning into that because it gives me much more perspective. I know what it's like on both sides. I know what it's like to be considered weird. I know what it's like to be insanely popular, too. Yeah. So I think it just, it just made my arsenal, just bigger. But yeah.
For sure. And how was it going back to because I peeped the video. I got it featuring Big Crit.
Yeah.
So how was it? Those were the actual schools you went to, correct?
Mhm.
that you were driving. So how was it going back to those? I mean, because like it's, I know I've been back to my high school, but I ain't nobody. You know what I'm saying? I drive back, you're like, all right, cool, it looks good. But I feel like to have achieved, you know what I'm saying, you still going up. Don't get me wrong, you going up, you got so much more to go. But to achieve the things that you've achieved and go back to those schools and be shooting a music video, and then you had Jackson State out there playing, like what
Yeah,
kind of feeling was that? Because I feel like, I mean, it looked amazing. Like my heart was beating fast, kind of like just kind of watching that type of energy. You know what I'm saying? That
yeah.
seeing people share. So like, yeah, tell me how that was.
Man, that was amazing, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. Just because it's funny, and I'm sure you could probably relate to this. It's like sometimes when you go back to not even just a physical plane of where you were in the past, you know, sometimes you can hear a song and you can just remember what you felt like the first time you heard that song, you know, or anything like that. But like just going back to those establishments, I could see myself. I could see like, you know, little Silas walking around. I could feel the energy, whether it was good or bad. And it felt good to take all of that in, especially, to, the person I am right now. And it felt great. It felt great because like, it was so dope having, shout out to the Sonic Boom of the South Jackson State, in the video. And because they didn't have to do that,
Yeah,
but I'm so grateful and lucky and blessed that my city supports me the way that they do, because I did that video, and I got the key to the city. You know what I'm saying? The mayor, I had the whole shindig downtown, and everybody was just like acknowledging me for just showing, you know putting a good light on the city.
yeah,
There's a lot of stuff going on all the time, but I was happy to be able to do that, and I wanted to show like people like what I'm a product of. I'm me. I'm from the South. I'm from Mississippi. This is where I come from, and this is what I'm doing right now. I just want
yeah.
to show everybody that package in that journey.
For sure, for sure. You definitely put on for the city, and the city definitely they show how much they love you. I saw that you recently won an award at the Jackson Music Awards
Yeah,
ceremony.
yeah. I
Yeah,
got
yeah. So you won.
Entertainer of the Year at the Jackson Music Awards. Thank y'all
Yeah,
for
man.
that.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's man, you deserve it, brother. Because like I said, the things that I see you put out, like I said, the craft and your editing, like that, it be blowing my mind. Some of the stuff that I be seeing, I'm just like, man, he be doing all that stuff by himself, and then like you be putting it out so fast. Like it keeps me on my shit. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like every time it's like, oh no, I just uploaded yesterday. I gotta upload. It's like, nah, you need to be on it. You know what I'm saying, to really to get that consistency, man. So to kind of bring it all full circle, what would be some of the best advice that you could give anybody who is I'll just keep it to aspiring artists, aspiring independent artists. Like what would be some of the best advice that you could give them?
Yeah, just keep it a book, so you won't have to go through, because I went through like a lot of unnecessary things, with just not being true to myself and what I wanted to do. And I know that sounds so cliche. Everybody says just be you, but it's the best advice you can
It's a
get
fact.
somebody, because people always feel like, man, they have to do what they see on TV, or what's on the billboards right now. Like, like I Ain't Stressing Today is like a song about not stressing. I curse, but there's not a curse word in the record.
Yeah,
It's about mental health. That's not what's on the billboards right now. But look, like it's having major
it
success,
should be.
recognized by all my heroes in the world. So that goes to show you, like, man, you don't, if you, and look, and if you are that stuff, then do that. Because the thing is, the second, if you start out doing something that's not really you, the second you stumble a little bit, people gonna find out. They gonna
Mm,
know it's not authentic. It's fake. Because you can't. But if as long as you're doing you, you can keep that up forever, because that's like breathing. You
yeah,
just doing what feels natural to you. The second thing I would say is just consistency. That's another thing I had to learn the hard way. Because I got a record called Divorce Procrastination, where I was just going through it, and I'm just trying to figure out, like, man, why I was able to the last minute to do things. Don't get me wrong, I still struggle with that, but I've
yeah,
gotten a lot better. But consistency, especially in this age, in
yeah.
this age, like the aspiring artists these days, um, they got so much more power than the artists of yesteryear.
They do. I
It's
do.
so much more. Like you can distribute your own music now. You can shoot your own videos. You can make your own content. And it's not super duper expensive to do that. like I used to overthink things, and I write the treatments for my videos, and I would write all these elaborate treatments, and I'm like, okay, it's probably gonna cost about $50K to produce this video, so you know I'm just not gonna do it because I didn't have that bread at the time. But the stuff that goes typically is the stuff that took a $0 budget, you know.
Yeah.
I say you can't do that type of stuff, but man, like just don't be afraid to just go for stuff sometimes and not wait for stuff to get perfect and just trying to be as consistent as possible. Because I'm telling you, like at the rate artists come out these days, you got to figure out like how to stay in front of it and what makes you different. And you know, just don't conform, man. Do you.
Already, man. Already, I definitely like that advice, man. And as I said in your live one day, I still hope that that Issa wants to get in your video for Insecure, because I definitely really like that song. And I call those songs Insecure, Triggered, and Right Now. Those are like the trilogy. I don't know if you've heard Trilogy by Pharaoh Monch, but it's like 3 different songs. Oh man, it's like I'll shoot it over to you.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
But yeah, those 3 songs, they all kind of they match a similar situation, but just different views from it. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I definitely I just want to make sure I said that before we wrap everything up. But yeah, with everything, with all that being said, I appreciate you coming on to the podcast, man. Like I said, it's been really dope conversation, man. And you know, like I said, your mixtape is Giving Self Love. I listen to it all the time, and it honestly has helped me a lot with my mental health, and has helped me a lot with my confidence, and helped me process things in my head. Has helped me, you know, even more so. Sometimes it's even good just hearing somebody else process something, even if it's not your specific situation. You can kind of, you know, level with it, and it kind of, you know, brings you that solace and that peace. So I appreciate what you do, bro. I appreciate everything that you got going on. Congratulations to you and all the success that you had going on, man. It's wild seeing it, bro. And yeah, man. Please let everybody know, if they don't listen to you, if they don't follow you, where they can listen to you and follow you.
Oh yeah, so if you don't know by now, I'm Dear Silas. You can listen to me on all streaming platforms, anywhere music is available. My latest project, It's Giving Self Love, is out on all streaming platforms. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube because we got some goodies coming up real soon. I'm doing my best to see if we can get as many visuals out for every one of, if I can, every one of these records for It's Giving Self Love. So got that coming up. And yeah, man, make sure y'all visit the store at dear-silas.com. Copy some merch. We got the
I'm about to say, show them the shirt. Yeah.
Hug Yourself t-shirt. It says Aint Stressin Today around it. So yeah, copy those. We got them in. We might be sold out of the orange, but we definitely got some blue, and we got a lot more stuff too. So yeah.
For sure. I'm gonna have to grab me a shirt, definitely, man. Once again, I appreciate you coming on to the show. Clue to Don Country Family Podcast. Dear Silas interview. It's going up, y'all. Appreciate you.